Hey everyone, it's Synth Designer back again with another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at how to create songs without using complicated wave shapes and complicated presets. And I really want to show you that you could use some simple presets to really go far with your music creation and to prove that sound design doesn't need to be complicated to get great results. This is actually going to be kind of a preview of my preset pack of Dreamscape sounds. This is going to be out on December 19th, so it's coming up real soon. If you're unfamiliar with my page, I have lots of presets available at synthdesigner.com for Serum and Vital, all for free, no signups required. My Patreon members actually have gotten this preset pack already, and so they've been enjoying it. That's for a couple dollars a month. You get early access to these preset packs. And sometimes I even give out some exclusive presets as well. But let's get started into this. And I really want to show you how far some of these sounds can go. And of course, they're going to be all available on Dreamscape Sounds for Serum. So why don't we start off with a very simple pad here. And let's get going here. So I created this basic chord progression here. And it sounds a bit like this. I think it's a nice little chord progression, very simple in E major here. And let's take a look at this sound. As you can see here, it's just called the simplest pad here. Now, what do we have here? It's as basic as it gets. It's a single saw layer here, nothing to do with envelope, nothing to do with LFO here, and no effects. Now, you might be saying like, okay, this is pretty basic, but I think you'll get pleasantly surprised at how this can really set up the mood of the song and how it can take us pretty far. So we're going to start off with this pattern here. It's in 120 BPM here, so let's take a look. And we're also going to play around with the automation. So although I don't have any mods set up here, it's a very basic automation that we're going to play with here. We're going to just start the cutoff real low, and then we're going to open it up a little bit. So in FL Studio, of course, you go to Last Tweaked, and then you can go to Create Automation Clip. And as simple as that, you have a nice little automation. So we'll let it run for, say, 20 bars, and we're going to let it open up, and it's going to like build up to something. So we're going to just kind of do a little build up, and I'll show you some more sounds. So you can see how it's opening up, and that's a good start. So let's go to pattern 2 now. I'm going to take a look at it here, and we have this large airy pad here, and it sounds a bit like this. So we have this option here, and I'm going to put this in after this fourth bar here. And as you can see, it's only one note. Because it's such a big sound, I just have it in the G sharp here to complement the sound. So let's just play this out right now. So if you take a look at it here, again, very simple. Now 7 voices of unison, again, saw wave here, a little bit of filtering here. This time it has a little bit of chorus, delay, and a lot of reverb to get it kind of that airy sound, and I took away some of these lows. But we also have another option here which we can play around with. So why don't we take a look at an alternative that we can use here. So we have this option, and when I am creating songs, I like to give myself a bunch of options and then kind of pick and choose between. So let's go to the next pattern, which in this case will be pattern 5 because I've already created a couple other patterns to set this up. But let's go to another instance of Serum, and we're just going to mute this for now. And we're going to go back to pattern 1. We're going to copy the notes here, and let's go back to pattern 5, Serum 5, and then copy the notes in, and let's open this up. And I'm going to choose another sound here from my preset pack, Dreamscape Sounds. And I'm going to choose basic saw pad, and it sounds a bit like this. So great little chord progression, and this time it has that 7 voice of unison. But what I'm going to do is turn down this cutoff again a little bit. And I'm going to maybe put around here. And again, I'm going to go place this into the song here. I'm going to copy this out. And this time I'm going to, again, go and do last tweaked, create automation clip. And again, we're going to lift this filter cutoff up a bit as we build things up. So we're going to come in here and build things up. And let's just see how these two sound together. So a nice little build up there. That first pattern straight up the middle, that fifth pattern there, giving us that width and all of a sudden bringing in that epic kind of sound. So the next pattern here is going to be pattern 3. And now that I have that kind of established sound here, that nice pad, I want to give myself kind of an option to bring in some sort of rhythmic element. We don't want it to be so static that there's nothing going on. We want a little bit of rhythm here. So this is what I've created with pattern 3, and I'm going to insert it here again. Let's take a look at it quickly, called EDM saw pluck. And as you can probably guess, it's going to be a plucky sound. So it sounds a bit like this. And once again, a very basic kind of sound with just a couple saw waves here. One going up the middle, and then one with 9 voices of unison, some hyper to give it more dimension, some chorus as well, and then a little bit of delay, reverb, and compression, and again, EQ taking out those lows. Now I'm going to turn this down again. And you could even make it a tighter filter if you want. So those are the parameters there that you could go with. So again, we're going to have this here, and then we're going to go and automate it again. Again, very simple automation, but very effective. And we're going to lift this up here as we get into this song. And in this case, I'm going to just probably turn down this volume a little bit because I can anticipate it being pretty loud here. So we're going to turn this down a bit, and let's see how we have this just playing from here. So we're really building up to something here. And as you may have noticed, I'm using very basic shapes. Saw waves here, basically exclusively, some filters. Cutoffs have been very minimal, or I should say envelope changes and stuff like that have been basically non-existent. And here is the one exception where I used an LFO. And this is basically just to make it a plucky kind of envelope here. You can use the envelope itself to make it plucky. It's up to you. This can be turned off and just be a static sound as well, which gives you kind of more flexibility in that sense. Then the next step, I really wanted to bring in some bass here. And what do I have here? In Dreamscape Sounds, I have this basic sine sub, and it sounds a bit like this. You won't be able to hear it if you don't have very good speakers or at least some decent headphones. So it sounds pretty basic. However, it's going to add that sub information that we really want here. And if we're going to play it all together, it sounds a bit like this. Taking out the sub. You can hear how much low end it brings in. And the reason I included this isn't because this is supposed to be some sort of amazing sound, but really to show you that you can do a very basic sub and it makes a huge effect here. And I utilize the Serum sub oscillator here. I did add some distortion, as you can see. There's quite a bit of tube distortion here, and that is just to give it a little bit of that higher frequency range. If I were to open up a spectrum analyzer here, so let's put this on channel 9, and I'm going to open up span here, and just look at the spectrum here as I play this pad here, or this bass. You can see there's a little bit of that added harmonic content. It doesn't make a huge difference, but it will make, you can hear just enough there of a difference. So now we've set up a basic kind of sound here, and as you saw, we have very basic sounds, but they are very effective. And we're at the point here where we can think about, do we want one of these two pads? So we're going to test out pattern 2 here instead of pattern 5 and see how we like it. Maybe add them both in. So we can see there that we can probably add both if we really wanted, have that drone kind of effect here with this pattern 2. And that standard kind of pad with pattern 5. So it's really up to you on how to execute that. Now they do both occupy a similar spectrum range, so I would be careful without making them too loud, but I think they could both work together. They both offer a little bit of a different kind of vibe to them. Now the last bit you'll want to do is just add a little basic drum kind of pattern here with some snaps and some shakers, and you have a basic kind of build up here towards your drop. So let's just listen to it all right now. So just like that, with very basic shapes and presets with a tiny bit of automation, you can really create something interesting building up your song. Let me know down in the comments if you're ready to see kind of like the next steps here, and I can show you using the rest of my preset pack how to go into a drop. Remember, Dreamscape sounds for Serum will be absolutely free. It will feature 50 unique presets, and don't get fooled by some of the kind of basic shapes and presets that you'll find. As you can see, you can really go a long way with these presets if you just know how to build up your song properly. So hopefully you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all next time.